Hello everyone, I'm Mindy Chen-Wishart and I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Law at Oxford University. Well, I had a very circuitous route to law. When I was a little girl, I was spellbound by the pictures of the excavations in Pompeii, and I wanted to be an archaeologist, but I realized there wasn't much archaeology of that kind to be done in New Zealand. Then at school, I wanted to be an artist, but that wasn't going to fit in very well with my parents' aspirations as first-generation immigrants. So of course, they wanted me to be a doctor, and that my older sister was already a doctor, and the more the merrier. So I did biology, chemistry, maths at school. But I found it not to my liking. I found it really quite boring. And so as an act of rebellion, I took up history at university and did a dissertation on First World War soldiers as a non-professional career option. And then whilst I was doing that, I popped over to law and realized that that was so easy and so much fun. So there I've stayed. Well, of course, we need more diversity in all areas of law. It's really important that people see someone who looks like them, teaching them, advising them, making legal decisions about them. And focusing on gender, female students already make up 65% of the undergraduate cohort. So the problem really is in the upper echelons of the profession, making partner, making QC, and I'll just make 3 points of the things that we might need to do. First, we need to make a big and consistent noise about unconscious bias. We all have that about traditional gender roles and stereotypes, like that it's the women who should look after the children and elderly relatives, that women are perhaps not as ambitious or as tough as men. I think that we need to be really committed to equality issues, and men need to be too, and they need to help us take the lead. We need more female role models, and we all need unconscious bias training. Secondly, we need to acknowledge the gender pay gap. Now, when negotiating pay, a woman is perceived as tough and greedy, but a man is perceived as knowing how to negotiate. And anyway, there is, in general, across the piece, a serious lack of transparency about pay rates and bonuses, which I think prevents accountability about ensuring fair pay and equal treatment. So we need more transparency, we need more consistency. And lastly, we need flexible working. Technology already allows us to work remotely. We've all learnt this, and this is lots of benefits to businesses as well as employees. But those who work flexibly often feel that they're dismissed as not being quite as committed as other people. So I think employers need to be supportive and to allow flexible working, and they have to change their mindset so that women can confidently ask for flexible working without it negatively affecting their chances of promotion or pay or bonuses. We need to encourage men to take flexible working and parental leave. We need to provide creche facilities in the same way that, a big law firm might provide gyms and canteens. And we should acknowledge good practices through awards, something like the Athena Swan for the profession. The last year's taught me not to waste time and energy on things that I can't do anything about. To be grateful for what I have. It's taught me that we need each other and that together we can find a way through. It's taught me to take risks and not to be afraid of failure. I think it's the idea that I can make a difference. It's very obvious, really. I can make a difference to individuals, to colleagues, students, admin staff. There's a real cause and effect. So there's a sense that I have agency. And of course, if it doesn't sound too fluffy, I'm really motivated by my love for Oxford and the Faculty of Law. Minorities like me and women in professions are afflicted by imposter syndrome. So in my early days at Oxford, I was trying to figure out how to be an Oxford professor. And I was in a faculty meeting where I, very gingerly put my hand up and said something. And when we came out of the meeting, a senior professor said to me, "Oh, that was interesting what you said." And I said, "Oh yeah, but it's not the Oxford way." And he said, "Listen, you are the Oxford way now." And somehow that hit me at the right time, at the right angle, and I found it incredibly liberating. As Oscar Wilde said, "Be yourself, everyone else is taken." But of course, you need enough points of recognizable merit or acceptability to enough people not to be dismissed as a complete kook. The second piece of advice is actually the advice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was given by her mother-in-law when she got married, but I think it applies to all human relationships. And that is that it pays to be a little bit deaf and a little bit blind. I think we've got to start by emphasizing the message from the top that inclusivity is a good thing, because actually not everyone thinks that. And when you raise these issues, people can get really defensive. So it needs to come from the top. And secondly, we can't get there all at once. Whatever you do, you will be criticized for not doing enough, for doing the wrong thing. And it would be really easy to give up or to constantly delay until we think more about it, until we get it right. But note that the perfect is the enemy of the good. And I would say, do something, do what you can. Well, as we celebrate, we should also acknowledge that we've got a long way to go until we get equality of outcomes and not just of opportunities. There's a lot of evidence that the pandemic has set back gender equality. The UN says something like 25 years, mainly because of women's caring responsibilities. In academia, there's evidence that the publication rates for women have gone down during lockdown, as those for men have actually gone up quite significantly. In addition, we need to close the gender gap in exam results. We need transparency and consistency about the pay between the different genders. We need to close the gap in senior academic posts. And we need to understand and not run away from the complexity of intersectionality. So we still have a long way to go.